Hey, Miles here, milesbeckler.com. This video is all about reaching escape velocity within your business. This is an analogy that you're going to be able to use to self-assess whether or not you're putting the right amount of energy in towards your business to create the results that you want. Because unfortunately, I believe that there's too many people selling you overpriced products, these fake gurus out here, who are making the process of growing a business online sound a little easier than it is. And that's exactly what this presentation is designed to do, is to put some perspective behind what it ultimately takes to grow a successful business online. My wife and I, at this point in our careers, have created 4 separate brands that are each generating over 5 figures, over $10,000 per month. So we've got 4 of them up and running. So I've done this multiple times over, which is why I want to share this with you here today. So the first thing, let's start with what a business is not. So a business, growing a business, is not as simple as hopping in a car, getting in the fast lane, and following a roadmap, right? Even the fastest cars in the world, the fastest production car on earth, does 278 miles per hour. And that's just not quite the kind of speed or velocity that's required to create the ultimate amount of energy that you need to get that escape velocity, right? We've got to escape our day jobs. We've got to escape the negative self-talk that we have, the naysayers in our community, our friends and families who are like, oh, you can't do that. All of the different tech challenges that you're going to have to get over. There's a lot of energy required to create and reach escape velocity. And it's just not as simple as a road trip. And keep that number in mind, the under 300 miles per hour number. That's going to come in a minute here in the presentation. So growing a business is also not like hopping on a plane and flying to another country, right? There are tens upon tens of thousands of flights per day. That's just flat out way too common. Everyone can do this, right? Not everyone can or will grow a business to the $10,000 per month level. And I'm talking that kind of consistent income that shows up month after month after month, not the, ooh, I happen to make it one month, let's go sell a course how we did that level fake guru access. So this is the Concorde. I remember that when I was a kid, they retired this airplane, and the fastest passenger plane on earth was the Concorde. It was 1,354 miles per hour, and that's not even close to the amount of energy or velocity required to grow a successful business. So what is the business? Well, the business in this analogy for you is like sending a rocket from Earth to the moon and journeying all the way out of the atmosphere and ultimately getting out of that gravitational pull of Earth. That is escape velocity. So the moon in this is your $10,000 per month recurring income goal. The challenge is if you don't muster up enough focused energy, your rocket's going to crash. You literally are going to come back burning, crashing down on Earth. And this is what so many people do. They might dabble and think, oh, I'm going to try that. Let me see if I can make a little bit on the side with that. You might make a little bit of income, but if you're truly focused on creating a recurring income stream of $10,000 per month or more, it takes a lot more energy than dabbling. The other really big problem that I see constantly is people switching from one business model to another, every time they're taking their foot off the gas. They're essentially letting those thrusters turn back to zero, and there is no way you are starting back from zero when you restart. So whether you're shifting from one niche to another within the same business model, or whether you're shifting from drop shipping one week to affiliate marketing the next week to Amazon fulfillment, FBA products the next week after that, you're never going to ultimately make it until you focus your energy intensely on one model long enough. So there's an in-between phase between the escape velocity and crashing back down to Earth, and that's what we would call orbital velocity. And I've got a lot of members in this phase right here, right now, and I've got a lot of viewers in this phase. And essentially, it's like you've created a really good job for yourself. You get a little bit of a lifestyle freedom. You're off the ground, you're off Earth, but you've only made enough energy to just circle the Earth. You haven't fully made it to that level where that 10 grand a month income stream is going to keep showing up month after month after month. So you're not crashing, but you haven't quite reached there. This requires 17,600 miles per hour. That's the speed that's required to reach orbital velocity. And these are the agency owners who are just day to day in their business grinding it out, or those FBA folks who are just listing products nonstop and having to deal with all the returns and the shippings and shipping things and getting made in China and shipping all those kind of BS components of running the business, right? They're not a business owner who's able to be in a position to allow that business to grow without their efforts. They got to keep putting that energy in. So that's the analogy of the orbital velocity. And at 17,600 miles per hour, you could tell it's a whole lot faster than just driving that car on the fast lane, right? So true escape velocity it's actually just under 25,000 miles per hour. So that's how fast with Tesla's rockets, with the Falcon Heavy, they literally have to muster up enough energy to get up to about 25,000 miles per hour. To get to the moon is a 240,000 mile journey. Coast to coast in the United States is somewhere around 4,000, 4,500, depends on what angle and what direction you're going, right? Like, it is an insanely larger amount of distance to travel, and it is an insanely larger amount of energy required. If you try to do 240,000 miles in a really fast car, it's still going to take you an insane amount of time. That's why they use rocket ships. We got to get to that escape velocity speed. Very few people ultimately succeed at this level, but with enough focused energy, it's possible. And we already covered the reasons why most people don't succeed. It's not necessarily that you don't have time. It's that the time you do have is spent consuming content, or the time you do have is watching webinars where some fake guru's trying to sell you a different method. And then you decide to buy it. And then you get those nerves and that feeling of, oh, I just spent $1,000. Now I got to do this. And you forget what you were working on for 6 months, and you're starting over from zero again. And your rocket just keeps crashing back to Earth. So it's magnitudes more challenging, right? It's not like twice as hard as a job, to go from a job to essentially growing a successful business online. It's not like 4 times as hard. It's like 9,000% more difficult to build a successful business than it is to go get a day job. And that's why so few people actually make it. And honestly speaking, it literally is like a rocket ship is 9,000% faster than the fastest production car on Earth. And let's be real, that fastest production car on Earth is well outside of the means of most humans on this Earth, right? It's 1,800% faster than the fastest passenger plane ever. So this is the magnitude, right? When I'm saying magnitudes, it's not like double or a little bit faster. It is absolutely thousands upon thousands of percent more energy and more effort required to truly make it. There's also a lot more risk. And if you look at the statistics, 1 in 12 million plane flights crash. That's pretty good statistics. I will take that bet. I'm a betting man. I will take that bet. 1 in 25 SpaceX rockets have crashed. As of right now, 1 in 25. That's like 4%. That is a sketchy number. You are not strapping me to one of those. 1 in 50 NASA missions crashed, and that's over the kind of the career of NASA. And ultimately, SpaceX took out the space shuttle program, right? And now NASA's just essentially leasing space on SpaceX's rockets. So that really puts it in perspective, right? 1 in 12 million plane flights crash. That's the easy route. That's the safe route. That's the day job. That's where most people go. And hey, if you've got a great day job, you're making $250,000 a year and you're cool with it, and that's the lifestyle you want, that's great. But if you want to create a business that's going to generate literally $10,000 or more per month, every month, kind of residual income, it's just going to take a little more risk and a whole lot more effort. In conclusion, just remember, it takes magnitudes more energy to build a business than a job. That's really the key idea that I'm trying to get here. And the magnitude example is the 1,300 mile an hour airplane or the 300 mile per hour car versus the 25,000 mile per hour rocket ship. It's really difficult to build that kind of a rocket ship, but it's possible. With enough time and energy, focused, without starting and stopping, without dabbling, without thinking the grass is greener over in that pasture because the webinar made it sound exciting, right? If you stay focused long enough, you can create the kind of energy you need to get there. There are inherent risks with growing a business that aren't associated with jobs. There's just not the same type of risk, right? The risk of being at a job is that you might get laid off at some point, but that's the 1 in 12 million. The risk of starting as an entrepreneur is that you're going to fall flat on your face, and you maybe made some big time promises to your friends, to your family. You might have told your boss that you're going to show it to them, and all of a sudden your rocket just crashed back to Earth. And the question is, what are you going to do at that point? Did Elon stop when his rockets crashed back to Earth, or did he go back to the drawing board to figure out what was wrong with that approach and refine his approach and refocus that effort and try again and try again? Because that's ultimately what it takes to get there. And when you're ready for these extreme challenges, when you know that it takes magnitudes more energy and you're committed to spend the 3, 5, 7 years, 10 years it takes to create the business that you desire, then you're ready for it. Your mindset's ready for it. You're ready to roll up the sleeves and do whatever it takes to ultimately get there, because that's the type of approach that's required. See, employees at jobs are generally able to say, oh, 5 o'clock, I'm done, clock out, I'll be here tomorrow. Entrepreneurs can't do that. We are always on. We are always problem solving. We are always seeking out the next problem to solve it. A lot of employees pass the buck. We take these challenges head on because we know that on the other side of that challenge is a new opportunity, and then a new challenge. And on the other side of that challenge is a new opportunity and a new challenge. And when you really focus your energy intensely, one business model, one audience, one niche site for long enough to truly get that energy going, you can ultimately make it to the moon in your little rocket ship. And how do I know? My wife and I have done this 4 times over now. It took us approximately 5 years or so to get our first business to the 10 grand per month residual income mark. The second time took a lot shorter. It was about 2 years the second time. The most recent time, it took about 16 months. So once you learn how to actually create the success and you learn how to build that rocket and to intensely focus the energy enough to reach escape velocity in your business, you can do it again and again. But a lot of people learn how to build a WordPress site or build a funnel, and they're like, wow, I'm going to build 5 of them. And guess what happens? All 5 of those rockets come crashing back to Earth because no one of them got enough focused energy to truly get there, right? I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has clicked with you. I hope it's encouraging because I know that you can do it. You just need to be ready for the amount of energy that it takes. And I think this is where so many of the fake gurus are messing with your head, is they're not being honest about the energy that it takes. And now that you know, you can approach these challenges the right way, with the perseverance, with the resourcefulness, and the knowing that you're going to overcome that challenge and you're going to take on that next one and that next one. And you're going to stay focused on one audience, on one niche site. You're going to focus on one business model, and you're going to stick with it until you achieve escape velocity. I know that you can do this. It takes a lot of energy, and your future self will thank you for sticking with it and creating that success for yourself. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up here on YouTube. I do appreciate that. And ultimately, if you know someone who would get value from hearing this message, go ahead and grab the URL above and share it out with them. Put it on Facebook. Do what you do. I appreciate any sort of engagement and sharing, whatever. I really do appreciate that. And ultimately, be sure you subscribe. I've got another video coming out in just a couple of days, and I drop 3 videos per week. Some of them are mindset level like this. Other ones are very tactical. So subscribe. If you've already subscribed, hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notified when those videos come out. And on that note, I'm going to call it. Thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I hope this has been helpful on your path to success, and I will connect with you on the next video. See you soon.